I'd like to call the Board of Trustees regular meeting Monday, April 1st, 2013 at 7:30 to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adoption of agenda.
I'd like to possibly add under unfinished business, sidewalk for east entrance discussion.
I'm sorry, I got sidewalk for...
For east entrance, which would be the
Okay.
sheriff's entrance discussion.
Thank you. Any other additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Support. Motion by trustee Turchi, supported by trustee Boyd. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments. Any public comments at this time? No public comments. Approval of minutes, 3/4/2013.
If no one has any questions or changes in it, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 3/4/2013. Support.
Motion by trustee Turchi, supported by treasurer Ettenbacher. Other discussion? Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mid-month business.
I believe we just have the one, is that all?
Correct. That's all I'm showing. I don't know if you'd like to discuss it.
The one mid-month is for the hiring of Karen Fultz. She's a Lenox Township resident that's going to be working with me in the treasurer's office. She started on March 25th.
Any other questions? Sheriff's report.
January and February.
Yeah, I believe they're starting out, bring some reports in. Any questions regarding sheriff's report? Sorry for the feedback. I want to let everybody know we're working on the mics as we go through the meeting. So if anybody... Fire department report.
Received file.
Received and filed. Thank you, Chief. EMS report.
I sent an email in last week. We'll get out here the numbers here. This is the first of the month. So we'll find the data.
Thank you, sir. DPW report.
I asked to receive and file my report as well, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions?
Thank
You? Code enforcement report.
I received the Liquor Control Commission reports dated 3/21.
Thank you. Any questions? Assessing department report. Everybody has a copy of the assessing department monthly report? Any questions regarding assessing report? No? Engineers report. Thank you, sir. Any questions this time for the engineer? Library report.
Receive and file.
Thank you. Supervisor's report. This time, I just want to let everybody know I'm still in contact with the Mucci Group. Still trying to work out some dates for meetings, and that is still going forward. That is the number one priority that we're working on at this time. We have some other meetings too, I believe, with the county coming up with SERMED regarding our roads and other monies that are just been allotted to the county. I think SERMED, we're trying to get some more information on that also. That's all right, you don't have to come up. That's what I'm working on at this time. Thank you. Treasurer's report.
While you are looking over the report, if there's any questions, I just also had put in your mailboxes a letter from Ken Cook for the PDR. They're not asking for anything right now, they're just asking that when we work on our budget, that we remember we have $250. The 6 communities that are in the PDR program are all on different fiscal years, so some of them are already working on it. I think last year, I say Jody, in August, I think we sent our money. So that was just an FYI for you guys. If there's any questions on the treasurer's report?
Make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, seconded by trustee Turchi. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Orders and bills.
The total is $271,004.80.
That was 271.
71,004.80.
81. Thank you. Questions?
Make a motion to approve the orders and bills in the amount of $271,004.80. 80 or 81?
80.
Oh, I thought you said 81, I'm sorry. Is that what you said?
I don't know, because I had to go back.
I heard 80.
I thought it was 80.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep, 80.
My mistake.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, supported by trustee Turchi. Any questions or discussion? Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Turchi?
Aye.
Boyd?
Aye.
Attenbacher?
Aye.
Heath?
Aye.
Trombley?
Aye. Motion passes. Trustees report. Trustee Turchi.
I have nothing new this evening.
Thank you. Trustee Boyd.
Just curious, you said last month that you were going to talk to the Mucci Group about coming here. If they wondering if they were willing to.
That's right. Discuss my report. No dates have been firmed up yet.
That's okay. Okay. Great. No, that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you. Clerk's report.
Hold on a second. I just want to say, I can't hear him. Chris.
Yeah.
Mine's not coming through.
What number are you on?
Number are you?
2. Yep.
Matter of fact, Mary Beth, I know sometimes they're working on the mics tonight. Are you hearing everybody pretty clear so far?
Right now I'm hearing you.
All right.
Can you hear mine?
I don't have the regular mic, so I just have my hearing.
Okay. Trying to increase the volume,
That's
so.
great. Be nice to hear everybody.
Any better? Test, test. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now it's coming up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
How's that?
That's a little too loud.
Yeah. It might be a bit much.
Feedback.
There we go.
Clerk's report.
Just a reminder that we have a millage school election for the Richmond School District on May 7th. And please excuse Premier Sound, they're trying to help us get the system back in shape.
Thank you.
Make a motion to receive and file all departmental reports.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, I'm sorry, who supported that? Supported by clerk Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business, Township Office North Entrance Lock Request.
Steve, this needs to be tabled one more time. I've asked for a quote 3 or 4 times and they are trying to get it to me. I was promised it by Friday, it's now Monday, so I will get back with them again.
Get a motion, please.
Make a motion to table the north entrance lock request.
Support.
Motion by clerk Keith, supported by treasurer Attenbacher. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals training sessions.
Did Pat talk to you guys at all about it?
We didn't, I thought it was in the board's hands or whoever's checking into the cost, so, yeah. He did talk about it, just saying how we can trim it down some. That's what it gets, the only thing I remember talking about.
Make a motion that we table the Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals training session, still waiting on more information from the planner.
Support.
Motion by clerk Keith, supported by trustee Boyd. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Sidewalk for East Entrance.
I had some concerns because I understand that they're talking about dipping the concrete into a swale. And I still have concerns about the cost of doing this. If we're not going to raise it where the water level is going, where the water's going to drain off it, we're just asking for that concrete or whatever we put there to crack. Why couldn't we just put either like pathway stones, not, the big circle things? You can get them at Lowe's, Home Depot, all that stuff, and you just place them in the grass. I did mine up north, I did mine at home. At my daughter's place, we did flagstone. You just get on the ground and you scrape the dirt and use low. It's not, we can't set a sidewalk lower than the grass because that water's gonna keep going under there and just crack. So,
To help with your concerns on that, myself, Smed and I,
Yeah, I'm going to pull the mic up and,
Smed and I have had some further discussions on that.
hold on 1 second, Ken.
Is it on?
Got to be turned up.
Okay, originally when I asked for that quote, it was when I had the contractor here doing some other quotes because we had heard some talk about possibly doing that. So we didn't have any engineer, it was just what would it take to get concrete from here to there. To ease some of the concerns about possible ponding and watershed, Smed and I had some further discussions about this last week. I did some looking around the building. Some of you may recall when we first did the original employee entrance, when we built this building, at the foot of this sidewalk, there used to be a cross drain, which we ended up removing because the grate was causing a problem with the ladies' shoe footwear. They kept getting their heels stuck in it. So we ended up changing the pitch of the sidewalk and we were able to remove that altogether. Well, I kept that drain. I still have it, and we're actually looking at utilizing that drain in that, to relieve that water in that swell area. Now, with that being said, Delta's quote did not include adding any sand or raising the grade, and all that, so I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem installing that. It wouldn't be that much work, but we would probably be on the hook for the extra materials to raise the grade and create, say, a level grade for that sidewalk.
How low is it, you know, when you look at it? I mean, is it going to be sitting?
From the sidewalk from the existing sidewalk that's out there to the bottom of the swale, I bet you it's probably 1.5 feet.
No, but I mean from where they would put the concrete, okay, the level the concrete would be, the walkway. Is that going to be lower than everything else, and it's all gonna pond?
If we utilize the drain that I'm speaking of, that we removed out of an old sidewalk, then we'd probably try and get, there's no way we'd be able to create a level sidewalk from point A to point B because of the elevation difference. It just won't, you can't do that, nor would you want to. You want to create some kind of runoff pitch. But it would be a lot flatter than following the existing terrain.
It's 1.5 feet. You're gonna have ice in the wintertime. So the water's gonna sit there. And that's
And that's in,
a liability in itself. So,
I just figure if we're gonna do it, let's, you know,
Obviously,
put as
we-
much effort into
Sure.
it as possible to keep it so it's not gonna start cracking in a year or two. I mean, we have, suppliers of sand in this township. I'm sure.
even though we have supplies of sand, the sand's not free, and nobody does anything for free in that
I
regard.
understand that,
But
but
obviously, we're not gonna put something in place that we feel is gonna cause a future liability issue or a maintenance issue. If it won't work, then why build it that way? So that's why, obviously, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna set it up, and we're gonna make it so it's functional.
yeah, like I said, as long as there's not a tendency for water to pool there, or it's gonna be lower, because then the water seeps under that concrete and it'll crack, so,
Sure.
thank you.
Without drawing this out, y'all are aware that, we'll have a little bit of additional cost over and beyond the original quote that was presented because of that. I'm sure it'll be minor in the overall scope, but, I can get a ballpark. I don't know if I'll be able to get an exact quote.
Drain's a great idea, so let me know.
But we can utilize something we already paid for. That was it was never really used, that's why we kept it, in case we could use it somewhere else.
I didn't realize that you were gonna do that, Pam. I had done the talking, but I didn't know that.
I didn't either, I just heard there was a dip and liability and
Well, sure.
and problems with it cracking, was the first thing
No,
that came
we-
to my mind.
and the drain wasn't in the original, it was after. we had
Right,
spoke.
and the quote was a spur of the moment, the guy was here, hey, shoot me a quote on that.
If anything, we got huge liabilities right now. They're crossing through the water on pallets on a daily basis.
Right.
And that's a major liability where it's at.
Well,
Choose
right,
individual pieces.
If we're
Like
gonna
you're
fix it,
talking,
let's fix it
We
right.
have to have something that's contiguous, one piece for snow removal and things like that. With singular pieces, you'll get unevenness, all courses of all types of hazards that way. This way, it'd be contiguous, drain, it's the only way to go.
I shovel mine, fine. No circles, yeah, you just shovel it right through, they stay even. So, but that's fine what they're gonna do, but I just want to make sure there was no future problem as far as, like, next year, all of a sudden it starts cracking.
Okay.
If
Any other questions?
when you talk to you can get a ballpark and bring it back to us?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to estimate, how many cubic yards of sand you'll need and the extra labor just to set the form, because truly that's all the drain is a form.
Well, I just know they're not gonna start before next month's meeting anyway.
No,
so.
probably not. they're just gonna schedule it when the weather breaks and they start pouring concrete again. I'm sure he'll contact me on a time schedule, and then we'll go from there. And I don't foresee it anything that's gonna take a long period of time that would hold up the project for completion.
Thanks again.
No problem.
Thank you much.
Yep.
Anything else on that? Anybody make a motion on that or anything?
No, I just wanted to question that because that's what I heard and I want to make sure it's,
Okay,
they're
thank you.
changing.
New business. Richmond Lenox EMS loan proposal for new vehicle purchase.
Good evening. I placed in your mailboxes, I think it's about 3 weeks ago now, a proposal for the township to loan to the ambulance authority the amount of $175,000 for the purchase of a new ambulance. The township has done this before. The promissory note that was developed was actually developed by prior legal counsel. We haven't changed anything in it but the numbers. So there, I don't think there's any legal changes necessary to the document. The simple issue is this: the EMS is looking to borrow $175,000 for the purchase of a new ambulance and some loose equipment because it's going to actually be in addition to the fleet. The interest rate would be 2.85%. It would be amortized over 72 payments for a monthly payment amount of $2,647.17. Attached an amortization chart along with the loan agreement if you have that in front of you. This loan basically will take the place of a loan that we currently have with Seaway. And as much as we have a loan that will be paid off on one of the vehicles on July the 1st, this loan would take effect on August the 1st. The amount is a couple $100s more. Ambulances have simply gone up in price over the last 5 years. So the amount is a couple $100s more than the current loan, about $200 to be exact. Dollars more a month, but shouldn't cause any difficulty for the EMS with regards to repayment. It's something we've been paying right along for the last 5 years, and we continue to pay along under this arrangement. At the end of the day, the real decision for the township, if you will, is that the authority can go to any private bank. We have excellent credit. And we can go to any private bank. They will all be happy to take 2.85%. They'll all be happy to take the $15,000 in interest this loan will make, and we will sign with them. Our other option is to give that money back to our taxpayers, which is what this loan does. It allows us to take that $15,000 in interest and give it back to you on money that as I understand, is currently in investment or banking accounts that the township's not making nearly 2.85% interest on. So, like I say, it's just a decision if the township's willing to take a chance on the solvency of the EMS. Since we've been here since 1975, I don't think that'll be an issue. So, with that, we just need your approval, and then after the meeting or this week, Mr. Trombley and I can execute the agreement with your approval.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Now you said, and the amortization shows monthly, but in the contract you have, it still says quarterly.
Oh, does it? Oops,
Yeah.
I will change that word. Thank you for catching that. Yeah, I will change that to, I see that
I thought we
quarterly,
changed your
and
mind.
we'll make that, like I say, before Mr. Trombley and I sign the agreement. So,
Your amortization showed monthly.
yeah, it did. And, that was just taking it off a Word document, and we changed all the numbers, changed all the dates, and simply didn't catch that word quarterly there.
Okay. Yes, sir. Attorney John.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Can everybody hear me okay? I have a new microphone now. You can hear? Okay. I took a look at these materials before the meeting, and they do, in my opinion, cover the basic items of what needs to take place to put the necessary security into place. It is a pretty bare bones set of documents, but I think it does the trick. One thing that I did not see in here that you often want to do to perfect your security interest is file a financing statement. I didn't see that covered in here. It does include a security agreement, but to perfect that interest, typically that's what you do under the UCC is file a financing statement. So what I'd suggest is if the board is inclined to proceed with approving this transaction, that it include as part of the motion that any additional documentation be filed to secure the interest in the township.
And you can provide us with that.
Yes.
Your attorney would provide that with that, because I'm
Yes.
not familiar with what that document is, and I'm certain that's fine.
I have no problem with that.
But I don't know how to develop that document. So as long as the attorney's capable of doing that, that's good with us.
We are. It's not a complicated, it's a one-page document.
Excellent.
Karen, this or Jody, Laura, would have to be able to answer this one. This money is here, it's in accounts, it won't affect anything as far as operating expenses.
No, we've done this as Jeff said before, we did it, gosh.
I think this will be your third time doing
Yes.
one of these, so.
And they're always on time, always, make their payments on time, not a problem at all. And it definitely, like Jeff said, we go to any bank, right now, I'm not getting 2.8 for a CD of any kind or, tying the money up, so I think it's a great idea. We do have the monies there to help the cause, so.
And this money comes from the Pine Tree Acres Revenue Fund, not the general fund. And it goes back into
It's
it.
worked very well in the past.
And then the money, the payments go right back into that same fund.
Pardon?
The payments go right back into that same
Yes.
fund.
Mr. Supervisor, could I mention one additional thing?
Yes, sir.
Just for the public's knowledge, just so the public doesn't believe that the township is in the business of loaning money, it is very restricted, the township's ability to loan money. This is a loan from the township, one governmental agent, local governmental agent, to another related local governmental agent that's specifically allowed pursuant to statutes in Michigan. The township obviously cannot loan to anybody or any company at any time. It's very specific, and this is permitted by a specific statute.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to loan Richmond Lenox EMS the amount of $175,000 for an ambulance at 2.85%. Payments of $2,647.17 due monthly. Final payment made August 1st, 2019. And add the form, what was the form?
Yes, subject to the township attorney filing the necessary financing statement documents.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, supported by clerk Keith. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Just as form of an update, we have been meeting with the ambulance manufacturer, and over the last couple of weeks, I'll sign the purchase order probably late this week, and the ambulance should be delivered probably just shortly after the 4th of July. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Seasonal DPW maintenance position.
As in the previous years, as the weather starts to cooperate a little nicer, again, this year we're going to need a seasonal person to help with just the ground maintenance portion. Last fall, we ended up having 2 openings where we filled a full-time position. At that time, we did interview 4 different candidates to fill the full-time position. What I'd like to do this spring, instead of trying to go through the whole process, put ads in, save a little time and money, I'd like to re-interview the 3 candidates that did not get the full-time position for the seasonal position. When we did interview them the first time last year, we asked them if they would be interested in the seasonal position if they were not able to acquire the full-time position, and they all did say they would be interested. So at this time, I'd like to ask for approval to re-interview those 3 candidates and and then come back to you with a person that I think would fit that position.
Just out of curiosity, how many applications did you get for that? Do you remember?
Last year wasn't as many as the years previously. I want to say it was somewhere around 20, 25, give or take.
Yeah, it was light.
Yeah, it was light.
How many did we interview?
4 total.
Four?
Well, I have no problem.
Sounds
No,
good to me.
I sat in on the interviewing process with Cam, and as he said, every single one of them said, give them a call, and they would, weren't working, they would be very happy to be working a seasonal position.
Obviously, if we call these individuals and everybody's satisfied where they're at, and no longer interested, then we would have no choice but to re-advertise the
Absolutely.
position.
And you'll know that in a short time period.
Yes, as soon as I make 3 phone calls.
Okay.
Since you want these guys to start in mid-May, do you want the okay to go ahead and put it in the paper right away?
I would like that if I call these 3 individuals and I find out that I do not have an adequate pool candidate to choose from, then yes, I'd like to proceed with that.
Make it a combo motion, that would be great.
I make a motion to allow Cam to interview 3 candidates from the last round. If none of them are available or interested in the job, to go ahead and advertise for seasonal help at $9 per hour with no benefits.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, supported by treasurer Ottenbacher. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Cam. Stay right there. 2013 limestone application program. As you know, once again, we have qualified for the limestone program with the county, and I believe it was a coordinated event with Cam, Denny, and Jeff to determine what is our most needed areas or areas of most concern for us with the limestone application. You want to go ahead, Cam?
Yes, last week I did take, one of the days I did make my way around and drove all the gravel roads in the township to base the best possible decision on where we should put this year's application. And looking at our current map that we have that shows the areas that we've applied it to already, as well as what year in traffic counts into consideration. It looks like this year we're only going to be allotted to 3 miles. It doesn't sound like there's any more going to be available. Last year we put, I believe, all of our miles into Place Road because of it being such a thoroughfare. We were 1 mile short, I believe, to finishing that road all the way to 32 Mile Road. My thought was let's finish that road up so we can call that road complete. And it just so happens, the worst area I found is right in the same vicinity on 31 Mile Road from Place Road to Haven Ridge.
That makes sense, and that way the applications are in the same time frame, so when they come due again,
Sure.
makes perfect sense, you guys.
And then, of course, as you see in my letter, I noted if I didn't really odometer the whole area as far as, does it work out to be 3 miles exactly? Is it shorter, is it more? If we do have mileage left over or there's more that to be obtained, my next area would be on 31 east of Haven Ridge.
Okay. And just so everybody is aware too, that limestone program, we fall under that with the county where we only bear 10% of the cost. The county eats 90% of the cost. Typically it's $19,500, our cost is $6,500. I'm sorry, it's $6,500 per mile. Our cost is 10% of that. Total cost $19,500 for the 3 miles. So at 10% cost to us, there's not a better way to get our roads done. And we always try to obtain extra mileage or miles in doing so. Gentlemen, before you leave, that mic's light. If there's any way we can get that turned up, are you guys hearing that mic's a little light?
Turn it up.
Sorry about that. but
That's all right.
Thank you. Any other questions regarding the limestone program?
In the future, sometime in the future, the half mile coming off the Gratiot on each of the, it'd be like 28, 29, 30, and 31. And no, 31 is paved. But 28, 27.
Going east on 27 is paved. We've already put limestone where our section of gravel starts. To the
I'm just
west.
looking at, let's say 28, 29, and 30 on both sides, like a half mile in on each side.
Where you get a lot of the starting
Yeah.
and stopping.
Yeah, and just look at that. I'm not saying,
Sure.
but look at that next time because it's like a washboard. And I know, and I can only say for 30 mile road coming off of it, that there is, you know, there's a hole, more than one.
I will say this, it was a little bit different this year, driving around and looking at the roads. They just graded them within the last week, every road.
Right.
So you had a really good understanding of what the road condition was like.
Thank you,
Secondly,
gentlemen.
I did not see a lot of frost coming out of the road, only in the real shaded areas, which there was only a few that were still soft, if you will. So I think our road season this year, starting out, is going to be a lot better than it has in the past.
There's a couple areas of concern we talked about. Mostly there's some ditching issues that we still have to address with the county.
Yeah, I have some ongoing talks with
28
them.
Mile Road.
Because of some areas that we've already put limestone, but because of poor drainage, technically, the whole road is not usable because of that. They're aware of it, so it's just a matter of talking with them and trying to get them to schedule those areas. Because I'm sure they try and do the same thing we're doing, is take the worst areas first,
Right.
and then see how much they can get in a season.
And we're trying to do it, it's not, you know, there's, the fairest way possible in doing this and picking them is to have these three gentlemen, because they're our emergency services providers, our ambulance, our fire, and we want to make sure that they can make it safely to help somebody in need, or that's our main concern, number one always, so.
This is a great program, and I'm very happy to be able to do this. And we always said, we'll take whatever they'll give
Lucky,
us.
we're lucky to get it at this price, and I was told at one time that, you know, this probably will run out here in the future, because this is a great gift to us, so.
How
We
long
do
have you
have
been-
money in the road fund, and that can only be used for dust control and this type of thing. So the millage that everybody pays in Lenox helps this. So we've got the money there, and I'd rather see it used this way than even the dust control.
How long are you guys finding that this is lasting? Because I look at like 29 miles just off of Olmo, and I think it was 2 or 3 years ago they did that, and
A lot of
you
variables.
can't even see the difference, and it's just like all the rest of the roads now.
Yeah.
How long is this supposed to make a difference?
I got some areas that are still in great shape, and I got some areas that aren't holding up so well. And I find that the variation is, what are the traffic counts? You know, how much shading does it get? You know, because we got some areas where both sides of the road, and it shades the road and the frost just hangs in it. That really seems to hurt it a lot. And then, of course, drainage.
29 and Omaha, Chris, that hasn't been done in 8 years.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Okay, I just remember being, well, that explains why it's not in such good shape anymore. I just remember being down, I couldn't remember how long
That's
ago.
the reason we created this map, that we never had a blueprint before on what exactly was taking place. With this, you can look at any time to see where the applications have been laid out, what year they were laid out, to and from. So we always have a blueprint of what's taking place and where we're going with it from now on.
You both concur?
I did speak with both of them before I.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we all got together last week on this.
I make a motion that we approve the 2013 limestone application with the county paying 90% of the cost, the township 10% of the cost, and the 3 miles as deemed by Cam, Denny, and Jeff.
Support.
Thank you. Motion by Clerk Keith, supported by Treasurer Ottenbacher. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 2013 Dust Control Program.
I realize that we have to do this, but the brine is not as good as the chloride, and never will be.
Yeah, I noticed last year, they put the soil down, and, or whatever it is, brine, and within 3 days, it was dusty again. It really doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't do much of anything.
I agree.
I grabbed a flyer when I was at the MTA, and I happened to come across it yesterday when I was going through stuff. Dust control, Michigan Chloride Sales, the Dust Masters. And they have a chart in here that shows the different expenses for the different applications. I don't know if it's,
Astronomical.
yeah, because comparing, like the county's got 12 cents a mile for brine, and they're showing, it's a little bit higher, but they're showing more per mile. Like the gallons are more per mile. Like the county's showing 3,000, they're showing 3,400.
So I think I talked to that same company, and even though their name has chloride in it, it's still a brine solution.
I think they'll do different, whatever you order.
Right.
But of course, the chloride's gonna be a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Brine.
Well, there are supposed to be more gallons this year to the mile per application. They've increased it, if I'm correct, Jeanette? Yes. Also, too, there was a discrepancy once again in our miles, and there are some roads that are shared roads that me, Sermet, and Jeanette, and I think Cam has gone over. Some of these that we've been paying on for years that we should be sharing some costs with Ray Township and other entities that we need to look at. But the main thing is there's always been a discrepancy in the mileage, so we were paying a little bit too much. And we brought that to their attention, I think, 3 years ago at least, I want to say. So we're still having a little bit of an issue, but Sermet has researched it and is trying to clarify that for us right now. Because we don't want to be paying any more for roads that are not our responsibility.
Right, after talking with the county, their past practice was going down one side of the road and up the other side. So each road would get 2 swipes of the brine. Because they've been getting so many complaints the last few years from residents, they changed the amount of gallons per mile from 2,200 to 3,000. And also they're going to be doing three swipes, once down the left, once down the right, and then once down the middle. So they're really going to increase it this year, so that should be all right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Why are we still with these gentlemen here? Jeanette, point that microphone more towards your, yes.
Okay.
No, I just want to hear, because it seems like the microphone's off a little bit. Now.
Is that better?
I think so.
Okay.
You guys notice the
I
difference?
can hear it all right from back here. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right.
In years past, we have done more than the 2 applications. In fact, I think we've done up to 4.
Correct.
And again, this comes from the road millage.
Well, and I think we need to do 2 if they're going to do 2. I think somewhere in here I read that their agreement is we have to do 2 applications.
And because of the amount of the solution they're putting down on the roads this year, he said we might not even have to do any more than the 2 that they're doing. We might have to do certain areas a third time.
And once again, too, we're dealing with variables. We're dealing with weather conditions
Yeah.
and things of that nature that create these problems. I mean, the one year with the extreme heat and the
Last
rain,
year, yeah.
it was, and then the detours also, which increased our traffic flow, which increased the dust.
Right.
So there's variables there that you just can't control.
Oh, see, on the bottom, they've got, the first one is May, prior to May 10th, they're saying, and then mid-June. Usually they let us make those decisions.
Not on the first 2.
That's
It's always,
first.
it's always after that.
Yes.
And they want payment in full before they even start. But they would give us a credit if we don't use it all.
So if we did 2 more, there should be 1 in July and 1 in August.
Correct.
Or 6 weeks apart.
You guys, I can't find last year's schedule. Do you know when we did them last year? Do you recall?
We can find out.
I know people like it around the holiday when they're having their,
I think you have to base it on weather conditions and
Yeah, last year we suggested, July and August, and then let the road commission decide exactly due to the weather when they would come out.
I certainly like them doing it better than the private contractor because they have more intimate knowledge of our roads. They're the ones maintaining the roads on a daily basis, and they know when they're grading, and they can kind of coordinate all that. And if it's a bad weather day, they're not already coming from Leonard, Michigan with a load that they can't stop with.
Right,
You said that if we sign up for 2 more, they said if we decide we don't need them, we get the money back?
correct.
That makes me feel
They
good.
always ask for their money ahead, but they never bill us ahead, so. That hasn't been an issue at all. I'm sure they would do
Hey
it.
Karen, you were saying about if they do 2, we have to do 2. Actually, in the first part here, it says, we'll be applying 2 applications at no cost to your township. If any additional applications are requested, then you pay 100%. So, that's what we talked about earlier. I don't think you have to buy 2, from the way I'm reading it, on the first page there.
Well, up above. You see up above the estimated gallons? Designate the total number of applications desired, minimum of 2.
And I think what that means is they're
There too.
there too.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's confusing.
that's the way I take it. Well, I
Yeah,
think
we don't have to buy anything if we don't want to.
That's true. There has been years past that other townships near us have not had it anymore at all.
Really?
Yeah, where I live.
I would say have the two additional on standby, and then if we have a wetter July or something and we don't need it, we don't have to use it. Because usually July is the hottest, driest.
I make a motion that we approve the 2013 brine program, adding 2 additional applications for a total of 4 at a cost of the first 2 are no charge, and the second 2 will cost $20,808 per application.
Correct.
Support.
Motion by Clerk Keith, supported by Treasurer Attenbacher. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. High Tech System Service Incorporated contract renewal.
Our yearly contract is expired, so this is a renewal of that. It's the same coverage that we have now, and it includes having High Tech come in 4 hours every 2 weeks. They also, they'll come in off schedule if something major happens. The second part is I received quotes from another company, AE&E. That particular, you would need both of these, and so it'd be a cost of over $25,000.
Okay.
And that one is completely off-site. They do not come on-site. They do everything remotely. The additional, it went up around $300. High Tech is, they also work for many of the other municipalities. Their expertise is in BSNA. And with us being all BSNA, that's a biggie.
Thank you.
When's the contract up?
I'm sorry?
When's the contract up?
It was actually the end of March.
It's kind of a no-brainer. I'll make a motion to re-sign the contract with High Tech for $11,744 for 2014 or 2013, 14? For the years 2013, 2014? I don't know how the contract works.
Extension of a year.
Contract.
Yeah, for
The effective
section
date of the
1.
last one was 3/16 of 12, so it would be
March.
May 16th of 13 through,
Like,
16, 14.
May or March, you said?
March.
March,
March. I'm sorry.
Okay,
through March of next year.
all right. I'll
Thank
support.
you. Motion by Trustee Boyd, supported by Treasurer Attenbacher. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Receiving board resolution.
This is something new that has come down from the state, that a receiving board at the end of the night is mandatory on elections. And what this does is they want the same people locking up all of the cans instead of every precinct doing their own. So it's a way to make everything uniform across the board, and the same people are signing everything and the same people are checking everything. So I just need a resolution saying that the board approves.
Make a motion to adopt the receiving board resolution as mandated by the state of Michigan.
Support.
Motion by trustee Boyd, supported by trustee Turchi. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments? Yes, sir.
Can I ask the board to look back at the roadmap real quick?
Yes, sir.
If you look at the traffic numbers on Low Plank from 31 to 32, and then as it goes east all the way to the city limits, that road gets destroyed once spring comes by all the semis coming off of 32 Mile Road, gravel trains, you name it. And the reason they don't go through the city is because they have to travel all through the city and deal with traffic lights. Reason they go down 31 Mile Road is because that's where the fuel depot is at 31, right at the city limits. I really ask this board to seriously look into having Low Plank and 31 Mile Road posted as no through commercial trucks. It's beating our roads up. We're putting tons and tons and thousands of dollars of money into these roads, and these are the two roads that get beat up the most because of this traffic bypassing the city to go to the fuel depot. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I just have one thing. I got the senior center flyer that she sent out, and very impressed, very nice. So I want to commend the new senior center coordinator on that.
Great, that's good feedback. Jeanette, have you had positive feedback?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm very happy with her enthusiasm, and she's hit the ground running.
Actually, I've stopped in there the last 2 meetings and asked the seniors, because I know that's our best gauge, and the ones that I've talked to, love her. So, yeah.
And it was the right move.
So far.
She's real easy to work with. She's, come in and chatted. I got her card, her debit card and everything for her, and she's very, very eager to do the right thing. So I think it's going to work out
Excellent.
good.
Yes, on that note, she had expressed her desire to be here tonight, but because it's her birthday today, she wanted to stay home with her family. But she will be here next
Don't
month
blame
to
her.
introduce herself to the trustees, and give you guys a few of her ideas that she's got for the next couple of months. She's got some great ideas.
Thank you. Okay.
Jeanette, just curious. Has she been, I hate to put it this way, but it's what usually happens, has she been bothering you? Has she been doing everything on her own? I know she's brand new, she's probably got some legitimate questions, but I mean, pretty much she's doing it by herself, which is what we discussed in the
Pretty
meetings.
much, yeah, she does come with me just to verify that she's allowed to do something.
Right, because it's all new.
Right,
So far,
like-
so good with that.
Yes, exactly, like giving you guys all her newsletter. I said that the board would love it, and she does, one of her ideas was to give you a monthly report. She has to do that for her other township. And I says, well, let me put that to the board, or you can put that to the board next time you speak to all of them and see what they want to do. But yeah, she does come to me occasionally, but most of the time she's just asking for, is it okay?
No, she's very courteous.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
I make a motion that we adjourn at 8:10. this at 2027.
Support.
Motion by Treasurer Ottenbacher, supported by Trustee Boyd. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.